A mass casualty incident like the one in New Orleans sparks panic in tourist areas just like Memphis. Of course, as we were saying, Beale Street, one of the most visited streets in the country. And there were hundreds of people out there last night, of course, celebrating New Year's Eve and New Year's Day.
Let's go to Fox 13 investigative reporter Kayla Solomon live on Beale. So Kayla, you talked to an expert who says there's no way to predict an incident like this, no matter how prepared you are.
Yeah, Darcy and Daryl, you all summed it up very well that Beale Street is not nearly as long as Bourbon Street, but still on any given weekend or events like New Year's Eve, as well as Grizzlies games, there could be hundreds of people out here at any time. And of course, when an incident like this happens, it makes people feel uneasy.
And that incident has brought a new understanding, a new fear to the potential dangers that we face here in Memphis.
Beale Street, a major landmark in historic Memphis, also the setting for the city's official New Year's Eve celebration. Fox 13 heard from MPD on Tuesday as they were prepping.
So what you will see is a protection zone, a halo around Beale Street.
Benny Cobb, a former captain with SCSO and public safety expert, says he spent decades walking and working along Beale Street. He says it's much smaller than New Orleans' Bourbon Street.
It's easier to secure, but when you have somebody that's determined and hell-bent on causing mass casualties, to get a full head of steam in a truck or automobile.
The FBI has reported at least 10 deaths after a driver intentionally drove down Bourbon Street. Dozens more injured, along with 2 police officers who exchanged fire with the suspect. Cobb says this was a person on a mission.
There was 3 different tactics that were used: a vehicle, a gun, or 2, and a AED. And so those variables are some things that took some planning into doing. The AEDs were planning in advance or in strategic locations, from what I understand.
So for people who might be asking what barriers there are here, you can see right behind me there's these white removable barriers, but there's also the black barriers that you see a little further up the street. Now those are marks for drivers to know they can't drive up this area. But also when there's events, more of the streets down around here are closed off for drivers, strictly for pedestrians. And we know that in the situation in New Orleans, the driver, of course, was able to go around barricades that they did have in place and drove on the sidewalk. Darcy.